We're close to St. Jacobs, which is kind of the farm town area. There's a lot of Mennonites here, so we see a lot of horses and buggies and stuff like that. Our whole area of the building is from that end of the corner all the way to the back of the corner, so you can kind of get a sense of the scale of this operation. We moved into this space November 2023, and we're still figuring things out, even though it's been a little bit more than a year now. But yeah, excuse the mess, as I would like to say. Every day I get greeted by our head of security, Maya. So this is our head of security. We save a lot of money on not having a doorbell. We have our office slash working space split off into several different areas. So I guess we'll start off with our top floor here. So starting off, prior to all of this stuff, we actually had all our desk space up here. But because we need more production space for all the new stuff we're building, everyone that was working on this floor got kicked out and put upstairs, which we'll obviously be looking at pretty soon. We have a station for VFDs. This is where we do some of the preliminary testing as well as wiring. We also have a station for testing components such as the VFD. We plug it into the super longboard. This is our SLB assembly and testing station, a testing jig where we plug in the SLB here and they run a test sequence to make sure every component of the SLB works. Over here is our station where we're packing the closed loop and open loop motor assembly. We also have some of the assembly guidelines on the wall here, so we have reference for what the packages are supposed to look like. Sort of in this corner, we have the Vortex assembly station. As you can see here, we have another diagram of the assembly process, and all of these parts on this wall here go into the assembly of the Vortex. Now on this side, we have the dust shoe assembly station. So you can see we have a bunch of our 3D printed dust shoe parts. We have racks of dust shoe bristles that get cut down and put together. Yeah, a whole bunch of boxes for putting it all together. We also do the assembly for the Long Mill Mark II dust shoes as well, so they get assembled here as well. All of our triggers, all of the screws, the acrylic pieces, the springs, and all the fasteners, and we probably have some magnets around here too, but I'm not sure where they went. Here in this corner is our G-Control panel computer assembly station. This is where everything gets tested before they get shipped out to our customers. This is the head of this corner, Gilberto.
Hi, hello.
So if you're needing technical support and any help with G-Control, this is your guy.
This unit here I used to test and do all upgrades and customizations. Since it's 100%, and I back up the image and restore in all the machines here. After the Windows installation, I check if the Windows is starting properly, also check if we have any damage on the screen, and also the touch screen if it was working properly. The machine comes inside this box with the power cord and antennas. And we also include the mounting part box that contains the VESA mounting, arm, and bracket. All this tube box goes inside the bigger box, the shipping box, that be labeled and ready to go.
Cool. I guess we'll continue on. Here we have some of the assembly stations for the long mill. We have all our suite of parts that go into and get packed before they get put into boxes. So yeah, you'll probably recognize things like the bearings, the clamping nuts, couplers, the anti-backlash nuts. We also have our long mill wrenches for the assembly, all of our screws that go in, and things like that. Parts assemblies here, packing the leveling feet, some of the screws that go into the alt mill over on this side. Yeah, just like small parts for assembly and stuff like that. Cool. So this used to be our meeting room. As you can see, it's kind of transported into, I guess, just a bunch of stuff. Area for testing the flatness of materials. We have a comparator that we use for small parts like collets and bits, checking those. Yeah, and the rest of this is just kind of like storage. Probably coming this July, all of this will be ripped out, all the floors will be ripped out so that we'll have a flat space, and we'll rearrange the production space a little bit after that point. All right, moving down to our next floor here. So this would kind of be like the other part of the production space for the assemblies. Here we have a station where we're assembling the long mill Z gantries, packing station for lead screws, all of the boxes for the plates. On this side, we have boxes and boxes of linear guides. We have semi-completed boxes for the long mill. Here we have Mike,
Hi.
who leads our production team. He'll be explaining some of the assembly stations that we have on this floor.
So a lot of you will be familiar with the Z assembly, right? This gets shipped out pre-assembled, tested here, and fully assembled. So this is just where we go from start to finish with all the components from a Z assembly. We'll test the motors, we'll test all the ball screws and the linear guides for these, then we'll put them together. A little screwdriver arm just to make it easier for, assemblers to drive in screws all day so they don't have to hold the torque against all the screws, keep them all straight and minimize strippage. This is mainly our packing area where we'll pack Y-axis rails, the X-axis, and also the main box assembly. I'm sure a lot of you, if you got in your machine, you'll notice it comes in 3 boxes. So here, once everything's complete and ready to be put together, they'll bundle everything together, strap all the rails together, make sure nothing moves during transport, and protect it real nice, and then put it in the boxes. New addition is we've moved over from the generic plastic tape that you would see in all our other boxes to some craft fiber reinforced tape. So a lot cheaper, a lot better for recycling, and generally less consumption of plastic altogether. It's also cheaper, so pretty good. On this wall is mainly the assembly of all our rails. So our Y rails and our X rails come pre-assembled with all the linear guides on it, all the ball screws and the gantry plates. So here's where we do all of our assembly for all the rails. Same idea. X rail packaging coupled with X rail assembly. We'll separate the rail stations so that Ys are all over together. X, Ys, you can switch between what that station does if you want to do some X, if you want to do some Ys, and then put them all together close to the assembly station, or the packing station that is. Right now Jordan here is working on starting an X rail, checking it, making sure all the edges are good, make sure there's no damages. This wall here, obviously just storage. Storage of all the main consumables we use. So anything that gets pulled often for production, like the boxes, like the rails, are close by. Often used items that need to be quick access and not stored all the way to the back. Here we have ball screw assembly station. So all the ball screws, before going on the rails, get the bearing blocks that go on the ends, the bearing holder that goes in the middle. We've just recently moved into more space in the building. So a lot of the stations are still trying to figure out what it is that we need more of, which station, what process needs more attention. So some of these aren't used to full capacity yet. Some are still kind of work in progress, but we're getting there.
All right, here we're with Chase. Chase has been here for a long time, but his job primarily is to make sure that the shipments get sent out from here to our customer. So
this is like our packing area here. So any small parts and whatnot, we kind of pick from here, and then we package most of the boxes here, and then printing all the shipping labels from here. Right now, I'm shipping all the alt mills out. We're trying to aim for about 40, 50 a week right now. So yeah, this is pretty much our packing, shipping station.
Alrighty, let's keep moving down in this direction. Here are some of the alt mill legs, get made here locally. All right, here we're at our 3D printing farm. Around 30 printers going on. here in the 3D printing farm, we're mostly printing all the dust shoes. You can see all the ones down there are for the alt mill. We have a couple up there for the long mill. Some of the other parts that we print are stuff like little clips for the wiring, some of the parts for the vortex, stuff that we aren't injection molding, but we still need a lot of, essentially just gets printed here. Here's a quick preview of the back space, but we'll be going down there shortly, and we'll keep our tour moving along. All right, so here we have our workshop where we do a lot of the prototyping, a lot of the testing. There's a lot of production that gets done here as well. So yeah, let's make our way down. So I guess starting off here, obviously we need a place to do prototyping, making projects, and making a mess essentially. So this sort of corner here is kind of our prototyping work area. So you can see we have a couple alt mills over here. It's sort of funny because it's really hard to find like a fully like ready to run alt mill just because people are constantly using and testing them. So we're going to go to the other side of the building, which we have a media room where we do more of the filming stuff. But yeah, here we have stuff in the move. Some of the small mill prototypes, the ones that we may have as a way for people to do more of the metal machining. It's just basically just like a smaller and stockier and beefier version of the alt mill. Moving back here, we have some more traditional metalworking tools such as a mill, lathe, grinders, so on and so forth. Oh, this looks like the prototype that Ben's been working on for the 48 by 80, the 4x8 machine, the big one, the big one. So you can do full sheets on it. So right now, essentially what he's doing is, since we're testing with a rack and pinion, he's just making sure that the accuracy is there and it can withstand the long-term use of this type of machine. So yeah, obviously this is a short version. The full version is going to be like 10 feet long. So yeah, this is a work in progress. What's this?
John's just working on it. I'm just taking this down.
Oh, because we don't use it?
This is a test bed that Mike built and decided not to use.
Ah, right. Okay.
We're just making space in the workshop.
Yeah. Here's Adam. He helps around in the shop a lot.
As I evade the camera. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
He's shy. Okay, so here's some cool stuff. I think we mentioned this in a blog post in the past, but we get a lot of the raw steel parts. They get made out of house, like in Wellesley area, but we need to tap a lot of holes in these parts, and then they get coated after the holes get tapped. And so John and Mike, they've been working on basically converting alt mills to be tapping machines. They're kind of like robots, essentially. And since we have all these components and we have a lot of spare parts, they kind of just throw them together into different tools that we can use that are automated. Yeah, so here's an example. And these all have these like big servos that can rotate, and these are clutches essentially, so that we can tap.
Hi, I'm John, one of the engineers here. I'm working on an upgraded version of the mini tapping machine that we were using before. The idea of this one is obviously just expand our production out, be able to do a lot more plates in one go, and yeah, make things more automated.
So what are you tapping here?
Yeah, just the end plates for the Alt Mill Mark II, but this can also be, reconfigured if we need to do end feet for the long mill or any other sort of tapped parts here. Yeah.
Here I think we have some stations for working on the spindles, although it seems kind of in a disarray. But yeah, here's like a big pile of them. Okay, in this corner here, this is where we do the spindle. We don't have any spindles being tested right now, but this wall, we basically like put the spindles in and then they get connected in this octopus thing. Then we run them for like a couple hours. This means that we break the bearings in and we make sure that they're working before they get shipped off. This is kind of an interesting station. We haven't used it for a bit because we have stock of material right now, but this is our aluminum cutting saw. So for our long mill, as you guys know, it comes in 3 different sizes, 12 by 30, 30 by 30, and 48 by 30. Essentially, each machine is exactly the same. The only difference between is the length of the rails and the length of the lead screws. So if we wanted to build 12 by 30, for example, then we would cut the rails here ourselves for the customer. Typically, we get a big rack of them and they go up here, and then we pull them out and we start cutting them. I believe they come in like 20 or 10 or 20 foot lengths. Over there, we have some of the equipment we use for measuring the lengths and the straightness. So we have a caliper there. I believe back in December, January, we got a big batch and we kind of processed all the rails already. This is one of our big doors, ground level doors, so that when materials come in, we can load from here. We have a dock level on the other side too, so that's ready to go. This here is part of the saw system. We have vacuum, collect all the aluminum chips, and then we have a central vac that we use for the suction. Otherwise, we have lots of storage space around, 20-foot high ceilings. We have a whole ton of alt mills ready to ship. Sometimes we have one of the smaller EPS trucks come, and so they fit in as much stuff as we can. Sometimes we get the big 18-wheeler or 16-wheeler. I don't know how many wheels there are. The big trucks, and we put them on pallets and we ship them out. Here we have a laser cutter. I don't think it's running. So in the past tour, you probably saw the yellow one. That one actually still works. I think we gave it to Jason just so he can play around with it. But this one's just a bigger version of that. So if any of the dust shoe windows, the SLB cases, those all get cut on this laser cutter. So we basically have a process for making all the cases and stuff like that. So we have our big shelf of material. So we just cut stuff whenever we need them for production. Sometimes when we have a lot of stuff to ship, sometimes they get fit on these racks as well. Right now, I think they're building batch and then waiting, we're gonna put them here to ship soon. So we don't have anything on these racks right now, but a lot of times they're gonna be full of orders, machine orders, and then they get shipped out the back here through this door. Yeah, so that's pretty much this floor here. All right, I guess we'll head towards the kitchen. Here we have some office space for the people working in production. Sometimes Gilberto is there. I think Nini also sits here helping with some admin stuff. Then we have Mike that you just saw earlier working in his little office. Okay. This is kind of our electronics testing area, or like assembly, stuff like that. It's kind of a mess. We're like reshuffling some stuff around. But yeah, we kind of use this space as a cleaner area, less dusty, so people can like assemble their electronics and stuff. Moving back here. Yeah, this is like a lot of junk. Sometimes we have parts that obsolete parts, just like junk from whatever projects that eventually end up here. That was our laser diode testing setup with the shielding so that it has a fan and whatnot. But yeah, this is kind of the graveyard, I would think, with like random parts. Yeah, it looks like we got a stack of parts that are for the smalt mill that we haven't started assembling yet, so they kind of hide it back here. Moving here, here's the guinea pigs. 2 years ago, they found a guinea pig under a shipping container. I guess it got abandoned for some reason. And a couple people from the office, they eventually caught it. And I was on vacation at the time, so I got a message of like, hey, can we have a guinea pig? I was like, what? It's like, oh, we found a guinea pig in the parking lot. I was like, okay, sure. So that's the guinea pig that was, that escaped, like that was hiding. And then that guinea pig we got because we learned that guinea pigs are social and they need friends. So we got this one from the Kitchener Humane Society, except as far as I'm aware, they don't get along. Like they're good with being neighbors, but when you put them together in the same cage, they go crazy. So unfortunately, they're good neighbors, they're just not friends. That's the media room. Looks like there's some filming going on.
Okay, I'm gonna chill. If you like watching, like, subscribe, check us out on socials.
I think it'd be kind of fun to say.
Boo!
What's up, homie? Uh-oh. Hello there.
Yeah, so this is a media room. This is where we do a lot of the filming. It's kind of needs to stay pristine and clean because as you saw in the other shop, that's like chaos. Yeah, if you let engineers touch any of the machines, it goes into chaos. But here, yeah, we have machines that are pretty much ready to go for the filming and the not testing. Yeah, just filming and making projects and stuff. But yeah, over there we have one of the long mills. We got two alt mills, the 2x4 and the 4x4. And that's the media room. Okay, cool. Yeah, so here's the kitchen. We got a Winfinity for testing the auto spin. So if you guys are watching and you have a Winfinity, eventually we'll have the auto spin available for that. We don't know what to do with it anymore after we tested it, so it's just sitting there. Yeah, but this is our kitchen. It's kind of also a little sketchy, but yeah, we need some renovations. But one thing I'm really excited about is this giant coffee machine. So we have this thing called Coffee Gate. Essentially, because all the people here, especially the engineers, they really like to drink coffee, we would make like, I don't know, 100 cups of coffee a day. And making 100 cups of coffee every day is a pretty big chore and takes a long time. And so we tried all these different methods, like getting a smaller machine, and then now we've upgraded to this like super automated robot thing, and you put your cup in and then you press a button and it makes coffee in like 60 seconds. The ramen collection. Yeah, ramen collection. Oh, more kitchen stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much. We got a slushy machine that sometimes people use during the summer. Yeah, we got a snack shelf so people can get snacks if they're hungry. This freezer is pretty packed too. Got all the food, lunch food. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers the first floor. Here we moved this whole space. We moved in back in November 2023. It's about 15,000 square feet, and when we first moved in, I was like, wow, that's a lot of space, because the old space was about 8,000 square feet. And we were there for 4 years. I think we started off like 2,100 square feet, and then we eventually like got half the building, which was like 4,000 square feet. And then we took over the other half of the building. So we all in total got like 8,000 square feet. Then we came here, this was 15,000. But the old space was like this height ceiling, not like double height ceiling as we have here. And so we're like, okay, we're gonna be here we have a 5-year lease here. So I was like, okay, it's gonna take a while for us to outgrow this space. But it seems like we've pretty much filled out the existing space. We still have like a little bit more we can get out of it, because obviously you saw it's not fully being utilized, all the spaces. But well, to give ourselves some extra room to breathe, we've also taken up the upstairs, which we'll go and check out. So if you follow me. Alrighty, so we're at the upstairs portion of the office. This space we got moved into like a little more than a month ago, I would like to say. our customer service team. We have the hobby dev team here. We have administration, HR, business development, marketing, stuff all up here. Do you want to say hello? There's Chris. You guys probably know Chris from the last tour because he was the one who did it. But Chris has been, what are you working on?
We just have the machine set up here for doing testing for G-Center, for the new G-Center Edge. And doing documentation and stuff for it as well. Yeah. Lots of writing and stuff going on back there. See you guys.
Okay. All right, let's start over here. This is a guy who says we don't have enough money or we have too much money or something about some money stuff. Charles also does starting to handle the education side of our business. And I mean, do you want to talk about?
So most of our customers come to us via e-commerce, but we have a growing section of our customers that are coming to us with purchase order processes. And so we need to set up appropriate internal processes inside our company to be able to handle that. So that way those customers have as good of an experience as the e-commerce customers have.
Also, Charles handles a lot of the back end banking stuff and the legal side of things. What is it? The U.S. corporation and yeah, probably if Charles wasn't here, I would have been sued like 50 times already. So
I'm always glad to be helping.
Yeah. In this corner, we have Nora. Do you want to be on the camera? This is Nora. If she handles a lot of the back-end stuff for logistics and inventory, basically anything that means like getting materials from one place to another or like shipping stuff. Yeah, she's helping with making sure all the customs documentation is correct, contacting customers to resolve issues, and making sure stuff can cross the border without any issues. Yeah, so she's doing a great job. All right, this is our marketing department.
No one's here.
No one's here. We're all doing nothing. No, I'm just kidding. No, everyone's filming right now, so nobody's actually in their office space. But Nathan's here, so why don't we let Nathan say some stuff?
Hey everybody, Nathan here, marketing manager at Sienci Labs. I'm in charge of the video team, so basically everything you see on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, my team puts together. Yeah, we want to make sure you have all the tutorials, educational content, assembly videos to help you make your next project. So yeah, very busy. No one's here, as you can see. It's an empty cubicle, but yeah, lots on the go, lots more to come.
Thank you. There's Jason. We got to talk to Jason.
You can talk to me.
Okay.
Hello.
This is our our head of customer support. So yeah, I guess to describe his job is making sure that the experience of every person that falls under our ecosystem has a great experience, especially on the resource customer service side of things.
I try our best. Make sure everyone's doing well. So.
But Jason, you are the best.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that.
No problem.
I have a really good team, so that they make me look the best.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
They do all the work. Steph, if you've ever had to call in, you've most likely talked to her. And Kelly, she is our technical writer and does all the resources for us. So you've read all her work. So it's been a great. They're really good to have on our team. And then we have Dave, who's out in California, so you've talked to him on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah, so we have quite a big customer service team because obviously we know that getting into CNC is really scary for a lot of people, especially if you haven't done it before. And obviously you're also putting quite a lot of money into it, so we feel that it's very important for us to be here to make sure that people feel confident and comfortable with getting into it. And I think a big part of that is just knowing that there's somebody behind the whole process to help. So yeah.
If you call in, leave us a message, but we'll get back to you.
Okay. here we've got Kelsey.
Hey.
Do you want to be on camera?
Sure. Hey, so I'm Kelsey. I do purchasing and supply chain here. So everything that you guys get at your home, I'm the one that kind of brings it into here, and then Nora helps me to get it to your doors.
So yeah, pretty much every like component that goes into alt mill, long mill, every single thing. Kelsey's like basically just buying everything, so we have that material.
Yeah, I'm just a professional shopper, essentially, for Sienci Labs.
Exactly. It's like budget of like millions of dollars, right?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, we'll work our way through the engineering department. And then here we have our engineering, one part of the engineering department. So right now we're working on the VFD design stuff. So you can see that they've designed some cases and working on the safety compliance related stuff. I believe this is John's desk. We got Daniel.
Welcome to the engineering department. We have one half here, more populated. The other half, I guess you just saw. It's as messy as it ever was downstairs. We just brought it upstairs. We have this nice round table, all the stuff that we're kind of working on right now. So you can see we're looking at cool stuff like this automatic screwdriver for assembling rails a little faster. It'll feed screws through the tube and does like a funny actuation here. Hopefully we'll get that up and running. You got a chicken suit because you never know. Sometimes you need a chicken suit. That's just how it goes.
This was from our April Fool's video, I think from like 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you want to see,
check out that video.
Leandro in the chicken suit.
Yeah, good times. Me and Johan just got back from our trip to visit suppliers in China. I brought back some souvenirs. We got a spoonch, rune, I don't know. And then we got some other stuff, 3D printed little mock-ups from some spindles that we're gonna be doing. Johan is doing all sorts of spindle stuff. Oh yeah, we got some cool souvenirs from some of our suppliers. If you're familiar with the linear bearing that we use on the alt mill and stuff, we were able to get this guy, which is a hot rolled piece of steel. Or no, it was cold rolled. Yeah, cold rolled piece of steel. This is basically a linear block before they start grinding it. So they grind the inner races, grind some outside reference edges, faces. So it's a pretty cool souvenir. And then Johan has got this directly from die casting, and then they painted powder coat. This is powder coat, right?
And then machined.
And then machined, yeah. Little housing for the sprouter, the auto spin. This is Johan. That's Ben over there in the corner. He's locked in. He's just super dialed in, focused.
Yeah, people would assume he's an actor, but he's actually an engineer.
Yeah, no. He has unnaturally good acting capability.
And also
Almost
he has
suspicious.
great outfits.
Yeah.
As you can see.
Get a close-up of the Birkenstocks. Standing up didn't do anything. Okay. This is another spindle.
Wait, this is air-cooled, right?
It is air-cooled.
Yeah, air-cooled.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're actually working on spindle stuff. There's just a lot of things going on.
It's never ending.
It's so heavy.
Yeah.
But the Z-axis on the alt mill can handle like 300 pounds, so
A lot of weight.
it can handle one Daniel.
Yeah.
At least one Daniel.
At least one Daniel. Oh, look at that.
Ah, there's Mike again.
Surprise.
Hi again. So I guess we'll end our little tour off with actually, let's just talk about this part. If you guys have ever played Roller Coaster Tycoon or Sims or something, this is like the real life version, because this stairway goes to nowhere. Ta-da! This is like a preview of what's gonna come next, because probably, most likely this summer, this wall is coming down and we're gonna take over the space behind it. And that's about another 3,000 something square feet. And it'll join with the main production space. So we'll have a little more space down here. And yeah, because you guys probably saw, like, we were just going up those blue stairs in the fire escape. There used to be a different company up here, and then we were downstairs, and this was connected to the next door. But obviously they blocked it off at some point. Coming this summer, we'll be expanding down there as well. And then God knows what will happen next. The whole tour, we got our conference room there. We just had our town hall today. So we had 30-something people back here. Oh yeah, and lastly, here's my office. Excuse the junk on the side, I still have to organize that. But yeah, this is where I do my work. And this is probably where you see the production updates. This is my little corner, and it's nice to come up here because it's pretty quiet, because I used to be downstairs and it's very noisy. Thank you everyone for joining us on this tour, and I'm sure we'll have another one as soon as we keep expanding our space and reshuffling around our production space. But yeah, thanks for watching.